Thanks for stopping by Shaping Your World with Shaw. If you're an oldie but goodie, thanks so much for stopping by. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. On this channel, I talk about lifestyle related topics, and usually I'm talking about fragrance, which is no different today. So if you're interested in hearing my top recommendations for smelling like a snack for Valentine's Day, then please keep on watching. So jumping right in, and these 15 fragrances will be in no particular order. We're going to start off with Mahni Cassonade by Navitus Parfums. This fragrance makes the list because it'll make you smell like ice cream. In my opinion, pralines and cream ice cream to be exact. I love the way the vanilla ice cream, toffee, and brown sugar combine to leave you smelling like a wonderful dessert. Next up is Caramel Pop by Vivamor. I love the way the caramel shines through this fragrance. It lasts all through from the top, the mid, and the dry down in my opinion. And it lasts a long time. I really like this. A wonderful fragrance if you want to smell like dessert. Don't let that popcorn accord scare you away. This fragrance on my skin, it's not giving a lot of popcorn. It's giving that nice caramel flavor. So just think of how if you stuck your nose in a bag of caramel popcorn, but that caramel is what really predominantly hit you. That's what I feel is this fragrance, and that's why it makes my list. I love that caramel, the way it shines through, and it's not overpowered by the popcorn accord. Moving right along to Amorous Intense by Navitus Parfums. This will have you smelling like a pastry. A really good baked good, in my opinion. It comes out the gate with a big burst of pear pulp, applesauce. It almost gives the vibe of smelling like a Jolly Rancher straight out of the gate. But don't let that deter you. You're not going to smell like a kid. You will smell like a snack. Very edible because the dry down on this fragrance is so wonderfully married together. It goes from out of the gate smelling like candy to drying down to smelling like a really good pastry. Something that your date will really want to consume. And when we're talking about smelling like a warm baked good, we can't leave out Sol de Janeiro's Cheirosa 62. This is a oldie but goodie that hits you with that vanilla, salted caramel, and pistachio. Definitely leaving you smelling like a snack, a warm baked good that's definitely alluring. So when I think about being alluring, I had to add Ellis Brooklyn's Bee to the list. Bee has that alluring quality of honey. That honey note, in my opinion, really shines throughout the fragrance. I really love this, and I find it to be a very enticing fragrance, and for that reason, it makes the list. This next fragrance puts me in the mind of honey, even though there are no honey notes in this fragrance. And this is Golden Nectar by Nest. Nest is a gourmand based on its one gourmand note of vanilla. The other notes are golden orchid, amber, and musk. But these four notes combine to make a fragrance that is absolutely alluring the way honey would be. Even though, again, there's no honey note here, it does give the vibe of honey. It just, when you wear it, you just feel like you're literally dripping. And for that reason, it puts me in the mind of honey. Now we're moving into the chocolates. And I have 3 chocolates on the list, starting off with Ultimate Aphrodisiac by Vivamor Parfums. And as the name denotes, it does not disappoint. This fragrance is definitely an aphrodisiac. That chocolate liqueur, the cocoa butter, and the brown sugar, although they are listed as heart notes, they are the notes that come through predominantly on my skin and last all the way through. This is a long-lasting fragrance, and I love the way, even though it dries down into vanilla and musk, it still continues to bring through that chocolate throughout the time that I'm wearing it. And so I just love it as a chocolate fragrance to smell like a dessert for Valentine's Day. This next chocolate is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, and that's Chocolate Queen by Navitus Parfums. I love her. I love the way she comes straight out the gate with the dark chocolate. She hits you hard with it. Then she follows up that top dark chocolate with a mid note of chocolate fudge accord. And then rounding everything out with the praline, throwing in the caramel, the dulce de leche, the hazelnut. Even that Irish cream shines through. I would say to my nose, I can pick up all of the notes in this perfume. However, nobody is overtaking anybody else. They're all playing well together, combining to make one of the most beautiful chocolate fragrances I have ever smelled. I love her. If I could only pick one fragrance on this entire list, this would probably be it. I think she definitely would be my favorite on this list. Moving right along to a chocolate I have talked about on my channel before, and that's Chocolate Bay by Nazar. As I have mentioned in previous videos, my nose doesn't pick up the chocolate that predominantly. However, what I have found is that all of the notes combine to present a nice baked good quality on my skin. Again, not necessarily predominantly a chocolate fragrance, but a nice pastry fragrance. And for that reason, it makes the list today. So now we're moving from chocolate to cherry, and we're starting off with Cherry Prive by Vivamor Parfums. And Cherry Prive has a good number of different notes in it, but my nose predominantly picks up the almond and cherry, and on my skin, those are the notes that kind of carry through the entirety of the fragrance for me. I love them. It's a nice cherry. It's a cherry and almond that are done very well. There are a lot of cherry and almond fragrances on the market these days, but to me, Vivamor does a really good job with the way they've blended these notes. The next cherry I want to talk about is Cherry Ambition by the Seven Virtues. And although this fragrance does feature a predominant note of marshmallow, my nose doesn't pick up that marshmallow so much. I pick up mostly the cherry and the vanilla, and for that reason, I'm keeping this in the cherry category. I will be moving to my marshmallows in a little bit, but sticking with cherry, I really like the way this fragrance provides a true cherry accord, and I love the way it mixes with the vanilla. I think this is a very nicely done cherry and vanilla fragrance. It gives a really nice gourmand feeling, and for that reason, it makes my list today, and particularly in the cherry category. So rounding out my cherry category is Lost Cherry by Tom Ford. I mean, what's a cherry category without it, right? This is a beautifully done cherry. Again, there are so many cherry fragrances on the market these days. And particularly, there are a lot of different fragrances that try to dupe this particular fragrance. But in my opinion, none of them even come close. There is a quality that Lost Cherry possesses that no one can seem to duplicate. They try, they try. Dossier, which is a very affordable brand, they make a version of Lost Cherry that kind of comes somewhat close. But in my opinion, Tom Ford's Lost Cherry has a real depth and complexity that no one can seem to master. I'm pretty sure they have notes in that fragrance that they haven't listed, and that's probably why people can't really dupe it very well. But it's a great cherry fragrance. Love it, love it, love it. I highly recommend. I understand that it's a very expensive fragrance, but I would say even if you could get the small travel size, I think that small size comes in at $80. I will say a little bit goes a long way, so you can get by with that travel size. Definitely get your nose on it because it's a beautiful fragrance. Especially if you're someone that really loves cherry, it's a beautiful fragrance. It will hit every time. You cannot go wrong with it. And so, rounding out my cherry list is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. So we're rounding out our list with 3 fragrances that fit the marshmallow category. I like this category because although I usually like to lean more masculine with my fragrances, when I do lean feminine, I tend to go sweet. So these 3 fragrances are marshmallow centered, and the first one is Princess by Kilian. And to be precise, the full name is I Don't Need a Prince to Be a Princess, but it's known on the market as Princess for short. Kilian does a wonderful job with the notes here. There are not a lot of them, but they blend together very nicely to have that marshmallow shine through. There is ginger in here as well. My nose doesn't pick up the ginger that much. And the funny thing is, I actually purchased this fragrance because of the ginger, because I do tend to like fragrances that have a ginger note, but I just don't pick it up very much with my nose. However, I do pick up the marshmallow and I really enjoy it. Maybe the ginger kind of tempers it down so that it doesn't go over the top sweet. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, even though I don't really pick up the ginger, I still really love this fragrance. Our next marshmallow is Oriana by Parfums de Marly. And what's a fragrance list without a Parfums de Marly fragrance? I know, we're going to get to a more affordable scent in just a moment, but we can't miss out on just talking about Oriana and how beautifully done she is. She is so well crafted. Her notes blend so very nicely together, and what you're left with is a beautiful, beautiful marshmallow fragrance that will definitely make you smell like a wonderful dessert for Valentine's Day. Rounding out our list is a more affordable marshmallow, and that's Casablanca by Brown Girl Jane. She's a really, really nice fragrance. I will not say she's a dupe for Oriana, but she's definitely a really good option if Oriana is a little bit out of your reach. Casablanca is a wonderful fragrance. She doesn't necessarily last all day long, but while she does last, she's giving you that marshmallow that's going to definitely make you alluring and make you smell like a wonderful dessert for Valentine's Day. So this rounds out my list. Let me know if any of these fragrances will be your choice for Valentine's Day. And if not, let me know what you are planning to wear for Valentine's Day. Thanks again for stopping by Shaping Your World with Sha. I would love to see you come back, and let's chop it up in the comments below. And in the meanwhile, have a wonderful Valentine's Day.